Morning Year 6 and welcome to Thursday's maths video. So today we're going to continue learning to interpret pie charts. As always, I'd like you to start with Fluent 5, pause the video and have a go. So the Fluent 5 answers are 752.79, 7, 1134, 800, 125 and 60. Well done if you got those right. So I'm going to go through some examples and then you're going to do your challenge. So this pie chart represents a bag and that bag contains red, yellow and blue counters. The pie chart shows the proportion of counters of each colour. If there are 12 red counters in the bag, how many counters are in the bag in total? And what we can't do here is assume that 12 just gives us the answer. We have to do something a little bit more. So we know that this section here represents 12, but there are 2 segments. So we know that there are 6 counters represented in each segment. Because if there are 2 segments, and that gives us a total of 12, then each segment is worth 6. Now we know that one segment is worth 6, we can count how many there are in total because we have 6 segments. And 6 times 6 gives us 36. So once we were able to work out one segment, we could work out how many in total. Then, if it asked us what the difference between the number of blue counters and the number of red counters, well, we know the red counters, that's 12. We know that because it told us earlier. We can use that to work out blue, because blue is only one segment, and earlier we worked out that one segment was worth 6. So the difference between them is 6. And remember, you find the difference through subtraction. 12 take away 6 gives us 6. So onto your challenge then. A bag contains red, yellow and blue counters. The pie chart shows the proportion of counters of each colour. If there are 30 red counters in the bag, how many are there in total? What is the difference between the number of blue counters and the number of yellow counters? And complete the sentence. There are half as many something counters as something counters, and there are 3 times as many something counters as something. Pause the video, have a go, and I'll go through the answers later. Then your second challenge. So Morton, a Vale Primary, ran an Active Start project, encouraging children to walk or cycle to school. They wanted to improve children's fitness and reduce traffic congestion. Now you have 2 pie charts, one from February, one from May. It asks you how successful was the project. So you need to look very carefully at the pie charts, but also think about the aims. The aims were to improve children's fitness and reduce traffic. Did they do that? Pause the video and have a go. So the answers. If you know that 30 counters are red, that is represented here. You know that 2 segments together is 30. So you know that one segment represents 15. Once you know there are 15, you can either do 15 times 6, or you could have done 30, 30 and 30. Either way, you would get the answer of 90. So as you know there are 30 red counters, you now know that there were 90 counters in total. What is the difference between the number of blue counters and the number of yellow? Well, I know that yellow represents half. I can see that because it's 3 segments out of 6. Now we knew that each was 15, so we knew in total there was 90. Half of 90 is 45. We could also do 15 and 15 and 15 to give us 45. Now we know that there are 45 yellow counters. What is the difference between blue and yellow? We know that there are 15 blue counters because we worked that out earlier when we talked about it being half of the red. 45 take away 15 gives us 30. So there are 30 more yellow counters than blue. The difference between blue and yellow is 30. Lastly, complete the sentences. There are half as many blue counters as red, and there are 3 times as many yellow as blue. And hopefully you can see that. Hopefully you can see that there are twice as many red and that there are 3 times as many blue. Then, Moreton Vale Primary and its Active Start project. Now you can tell that it was successful because in February you had this amount of people walking. Now in May the segment has stayed the same, so they're still walking, which is good. You haven't put them off. Now over here in February, the segment for cycling to school is much smaller and the segment for driving a car is bigger. If you look over at May, your segment for cycle has grown and your segment for car has decreased. That means it was successful because whilst the same children are still walking, or the same proportion of children are still walking, a greater proportion of children are cycling and less children are using the car. Now you can see that bus has changed slightly as well. Bus has actually grown. However, that's not that bad either, because I think if you wanted to reduce traffic congestion, well, think how many more people you can fit on a bus in comparison to a car. So you could replace maybe 5 cars by those people all taking 1 bus. So they have met their aims. They've reduced traffic congestion because you've got less people driving, but also the bus amount has maybe grown a little bit. And also you've got more people cycling, so you've improved fitness. Walking has stayed the same, so that's still good. See you tomorrow.